Have you ever been on a ride that didn't just wow you, but moved you? The kind of experience that hits right in the heart, leaving you breathless, not from the thrill, but from the sheer emotion of it all? That's the magic of Disney. It's not just about castles, fireworks, or even the rides themselves. It's about the way they make you feel. Some attractions take us straight back to childhood. Others remind us of the beauty of storytelling, of dreams, of time passing too quickly. And a few, they hit so deep, they leave you wiping away a tear before the ride even ends. Today, we're uncovering the Disney rides that will make you cry, but in the best way possible. From nostalgia-filled journeys to moments of awe so powerful they stick with you forever, these are the attractions that prove Disney's real magic isn't just in what you see, it's in what you feel. So, let's dive in, because if you've ever felt something real on a Disney ride, you're not alone. And if you haven't, you just might after this. Tiana's Bayou Adventure, a ride that feels like a celebration. This ride isn't just a retelling, it's a moment in history. Tiana's Bayou Adventure doesn't just replace Splash Mountain, it redefines what a Disney attraction can be. From the moment you step into the bayou, you're surrounded by music, warmth, and life. The glow of fireflies, the rhythm of New Orleans jazz, and the scent of magnolias. It's a world that feels alive. But more than that, it's a story of resilience. Every scene is a tribute, not just to the princess and the frog, but to heritage, hope, and the power of dreams. The joy in Tiana's eyes, the triumph in her voice. It's impossible not to feel something big swelling in your chest. And by the time you hit that final drop, it's not just the water that leaves you breathless, it's the feeling that you've just witnessed something important. A ride that isn't just fun, it's meaningful. And that's Disney at its best. It's a small world, a song that gets you, eventually. At first, you might think of It's a Small World as nothing more than a catchy, and let's be honest, endlessly looping tune. But if you've ever really listened, like really listened, you know this ride is so much more. Picture yourself floating through a world of color, laughter, and pure, unfiltered joy. The simple yet powerful message of unity wraps around you. One language, one song, one shared experience. And here's something you might not know. Disney recently added a new verse to deepen its message. Because in a world that feels more divided than ever, this ride reminds us of something incredibly simple. We are more alike than we are different. Maybe at first, you're just humming along. But then, somewhere in the middle of the ride, it hits you. This is a ride about humanity, about hope, about the fact that no matter who we are, where we're from, or what we believe, we are all part of the same story. For many, It's a Small World is more than a ride. It's an emotional experience that reminds you that love and unity truly make the world go round. And yes, it might just get you a little teary-eyed. Happy tears, of course. Tower of Terror, the drop that breaks you in the best way. Okay, let's talk about fear. The Twilight Zone. Tower of Terror isn't just a ride, it's a psychological event. From the moment you step into that dust-covered hotel lobby, something shifts. The air is thicker. The music, off-kilter. The lighting, just dim enough to make you second-guess everything. And then comes the drop. For a second, your stomach completely disconnects from your body. But here's the thing. As soon as you start screaming, you're also laughing. Because somewhere in the free fall, that fear turns into pure, electric exhilaration. That's the magic of Tower of Terror. It's not just about the thrill, it's about what comes after. The shared moment of survival. The way fear becomes a memory you'll never forget. And when you hit the ground, legs shaking, heart pounding, you're not just relieved, you're elated because you did it. And honestly, that kind of emotional roller coaster is enough to make anyone tear up. Pirates of the Caribbean, a nostalgic masterpiece. There are Disney rides that wow you, and then there are Disney rides that transport you. Pirates of the Caribbean is one of those. From the second you hear that first cannon fire, you're no longer in a theme park. You're somewhere else entirely. The flickering lanterns, the smell of salt in the air, the sound of water lapping against the boat. It's a world that feels untouched by time. For kids, It's pure adventure. But for adults, it's nostalgia. It's memories of childhood trips, of sneaking onto the ride when you were just a little too scared. And now, as an adult, it's something else. It's a time machine. It's hard not to get a little emotional when you realize that, for generations, this ride has been exactly the same. And yet, every time you experience it, it feels completely new. That's the thing about Pirates of the Caribbean. It's not just a ride, it's a feeling. And that feeling stays with you. The Haunted Mansion. Spooky, but make it emotional. Let's talk about a ride that somehow manages to be spooky, funny, and, surprisingly, heartwarming. The Haunted Mansion. From the moment you step inside, you're wrapped in this eerie but cozy atmosphere. The flickering candlelight, the ghostly whispers, the organ music that's just unsettling enough. But somehow, it feels more like a ghostly hug than a horror story. This ride is a masterclass in storytelling. It's creepy without being terrifying, silly without being over the top. And for longtime Disney fans, it's more than just an attraction. It's a piece of nostalgia. Maybe it's the first ride you dared to go on as a kid. Maybe it's the one that made you realize ghosts can be kind too. The Haunted Mansion works because it's timeless. No matter how much Disney updates it, the magic stays the same. That perfect mix of a little scary, a little silly, and totally unforgettable. Spaceship Earth. The ride that makes you think. You walk into Epcot's giant golf ball, thinking you're in for a simple history lesson. But a few minutes in, you realize this ride is about something much bigger. Spaceship Earth isn't just about the past. It's about progress, resilience, and the way human creativity has shaped the world. The narration, the swelling music, the sheer realization of how far we've come as a species. It's surprisingly profound for a theme park ride. For a few minutes, you're not just on a slow-moving ride, you're time traveling. And by the end, you can't help but feel inspired. Because if this is where we've been, imagine where we're going. Peter Pan's Flight. Pure Disney magic. Some rides thrill you, some move you, and some just make you believe in magic. From the second your pirate ship lifts off the ground, something deep inside you shifts. Flying over London, seeing the tiny twinkling lights below, hearing You Can Fly playing softly in the background, it's an instant rush of pure nostalgia. For a moment, you're not an adult in a theme park. You're a kid again. It's simple, it's short, and yet, it's so powerful. Maybe that's why people are willing to wait over an hour for a ride that lasts less than 2 minutes. Because it's not just a ride, it's a feeling. And that feeling, it's worth every second. Flight of Passage, the ride that takes your breath away. One word, breathtaking. Flight of Passage isn't just a ride, it's an experience that hits every sense at once. From the second you link with your Banshee, everything around you disappears. The wind in your hair, the smell of the ocean, the sheer scale of Pandora unfolding beneath you. For the next few minutes, you're not in a theme park, you're soaring. Most people step off this ride physically shaking because it's that powerful. It's not just about the visuals or the music, it's about the feeling of connection with the world, with the story, with something bigger than yourself. The Enchanted Tiki Room, a wholesome throwback. It's a room full of singing birds, and yet somehow, it gets you right in the heart. The Enchanted Tiki Room is pure Disney nostalgia, the kind that feels like stepping back in time. It's quirky, it's charming, and it's one of the last attractions Walt Disney personally worked on. That's why, for longtime Disney fans, it's sacred, it's simple, it's joyful. And let's be real, in the Tiki Room is an absolute bop. Fantasmic, the grand finale that destroys you emotionally. Okay, this isn't a ride, but it had to make the list, because Fantasmic isn't just a show, it's an emotional gut punch wrapped in fireworks. Mickey facing off against Disney villains, chilling, the music swelling at just the right moment, goosebumps. That grand finale where every Disney character sails by, waving while fireworks explode overhead, actual physical tears. It's nostalgia, it's excitement, it's the kind of magic that makes you feel something. And no matter how many times you see it, it always hits hard. Now, we want to hear from you. Which Disney ride has brought you to tears? Was it the nostalgic charm of It's a Small World, or the adrenaline-fueled drop of Tower of Terror? Drop your story in the comments below.